Guys, welcome back. DeFi, degens, Grip, and Farm for Poverty. I'm your host, Grip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. And today's video, we're getting into the macro a bit and going to be talking about how the macro sentiment is pretty much bearish and doom and gloom right now, but going to be giving you some inside alpha, what's actually happening behind the scenes at the macro that actually puppeteers the macro that we all see in the news. So you want to stay tuned for this in the video, and we're going to have a shout out to our sponsor, Spritz Finance, because I'm pretty much going to be plugging them in every video now. I'm not getting paid by them. I'd love to get paid by them, but I am supporting them because I do believe that this is a utility, and I do believe that there is some potential collaboration in the future with either them or something like this in the Drip Network ecosystem. All right, so let's get into it. So right now in the macro, it's pretty much, like I said, doom and gloom. There have been a lot of layoffs happening within the crypto sector, as well as spilling into the traditional sector. So we got crypto lender Genesis cuts down its staff by 30%, fired 145 employees, which accounts for 30% of the workforce. If you're not sure who Genesis are, they've been around for quite a while doing a lot of OTC deals. There's also a pending class action lawsuit with Gemini behind the scenes on some liquidity issues or money owed. So a lot of stuff going on there, but we're not going to dive into that. But again, just some negative sentiment right in the crypto space regarding some of these lenders and stuff. Then we got Silvergate. Now Silvergate is another huge one. They're a bank, and the Silver Bank is looking at letting go of 200 employees. The bank also scrapped its ambitions to introduce a digital currency and wrote off 196 million. They were supposed to be working with Facebook, well, now Meta, on the Diem project, which formerly was like Libra when they wanted to make their own token. So they scrapped that deal. And also they just had a big hole to fill, $8.1 billion, regarding a request to remove assets off of kind of a liquidity crunch, kind of like we saw with Binance, basically. But they were able to fill that. So they had clients pulled $8.1 billion in deposits from Silvergate during a crisis of confidence late last year, forcing the crypto-focused U.S. bank to sell assets and underscoring how the implosion of FTX reached the regulated financial sector. So they actually took a net loss of, I forgot where it's at. Let me see. Silvergate rushed to sell 5.2 billion worth of debt securities at a loss of 718 million. So they took a hit, but they did manage to allow for all that capital to get, squeezed out. But it's still just more doom and gloom in the crypto space, and people are wondering if they're over leveraged. Will they become insolvent? Who's next to fall? Is this still part of the FTX contagion? Yada, yada, yada. Just a quick message. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel, as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. And dealing with FTX spills over into the SEC, just more of the alphabet soup, but the SEC has blocked the acquisition of Binance to acquire Voyager. And we just know that this is dirty Gary Gensler playing his games in the background of trying to control everything. But basically, the SEC put in a limited objection where basically they told Binance.us that you cannot acquire Voyager in this bankruptcy deal. Binance was going to purchase them for about $1 billion, but now the SEC says they need more transparency. One, they want to know how exactly they are funding this, which they're stating they don't believe that they have the money to actually acquire this, which makes no sense because the deal wouldn't have went through if they didn't. And number two, they want to know what they're going to do with the customer funds after they're acquired, or how they plan to give them back. Just basically a bunch of red tape is really what it boils down to. So Voyager originally agreed to sell its assets to the disgraced FTX exchange after bankruptcy in 2022, but Binance seized the moment following FTX collapse in November. And I believe this is really just the SEC really trying to slow down things with Binance International, so Binance.com. Even though Binance.us and Binance.com are separate entities, they want to make sure that Binance.com is not funneling money to Binance.us and they want to take away CZ's 75% share of the crypto markets that he pretty much has right now as being the #1 go-to exchange. So it's all, to me, just a plot against all of that. But I digress. So again, more doom and gloom. And as I said, this doom and gloom extends into TradFi, or just the traditional markets. So we see Amazon now laying off 17,000 employees. In Q4 of 2022, they halted hiring amidst rising economic concerns, and they were reportedly going to have to lay off more than 10,000 people. But a source familiar with a recent report to the Wall Street Journal pointed out that number is much higher, and layoffs are likely to affect about 17K. The unnamed sources reconfirmed the layoffs in play mostly target the company's corporate employees. So the laboring workforce of about 1.5 million, the people working in the warehouses, aren't going to be laid off, but I guess the corporate ones will. So, as I said, this is a lot of negative information. But before we get to the positive, a word from our sponsor. So Spritz Finance, going to cut to that video.
Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? Spritz Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.
All right. So yeah, you guys should definitely check out Spritz if you haven't already. So anyway, what does this doom and gloom mean for crypto and what's actually happening behind the scenes? So let's start first with another one of the 3-letter companies that we probably don't like. The IRS. That's Uncle Sam trying to get its hand in everything as well. But this is actually bullish, even though it sucks. It's the IRS sees crypto companies as potential crime-fighting partners. A top official in IRS law enforcement arm said the agency wants to build ties with the digital assets sector. So they're looking to basically get more eyeballs on what's happening with blockchain. And top law IRS service law enforcers said the tax collection agency wants to partner with industry to fight financial crime. Matt Federuso, who spoke with the Wall Street Journal's Risk Compliance Journal, said IRS CI, which often competes with the flush crypto sector for talent, welcomes the revolving door. So they asked him, the Wall Street Journal asked him, how do you view digital assets? Are you willing to work with these companies? And he said, we can't be hostile to the technology. We have to embrace it. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. So that's the one bullish part that I like about this. So IRS is seeing this as something that is not a fad. It's actually coming and it's staying. And they realize they need to find out a way so they can get ahead of it and still get their slice of the pie. Because remember, especially in DeFi, where we're at, we're trying to cut Uncle Sam out of that. We're trying to cut the Fed out of that. So if we can deal directly and transact, that's why I mentioned in my previous video about the Bartertown kind of area. If we can transact 100% in crypto and you never touch fiat, then there goes the IRS, there goes your taxes, there goes the Fed. That is the long-term goal of this utopian future, I think, that we can envision from crypto being separate from the financial industry. But I digress. So it's not going anywhere anytime soon, and it's becoming more legitimate as the years roll on. It becomes more sophisticated. My thought is that those relationships will develop as the years go on and as companies become more comfortable with dealing with the federal government. I don't see how we can operate in this space without it. So again, it's bullish, but sucks. But at the end of the day, we do need regulation in the space if we're looking for mass adoption. There's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines. There's a lot of barrier to entry, a lot of big money that will not come in until something like this moves forward. So we got to accept the chips where they fall, so to speak. So IRS saying that crypto is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, right? Next up, the single company that pretty much controls all of the money in the world. I mentioned this to you guys before on my channel, BlackRock. BlackRock's CEO says next generation for markets is tokenization. You can actually watch this YouTube video that he did with ESJ, I think it is, earlier in December. It's taking a while to pull up, but basically he's gives these information of what he has in here, but we're just going to cover some of the highlights. So Fink argued, that's the CEO, that tokenization will provide instantaneous settlement and reduce fees. Despite the advantages, he added that the development of this type of technology wouldn't disrupt BlackRock's business model. The next generation of markets, of the next generation for securities, will be tokenization of securities. So he is seeing that this, just like the IRS said, is not going anywhere, and that they want to be ahead of it. And he also sees that they play a major role, and he said it won't disrupt them. So you can expect to see BlackRock, as we mentioned before, starting to nibble a little more into the blockchain technology or companies or support them. Don't know exactly how that rolls out, but when the world's largest, asset manager with their Aladdin technology and controlling, I forgot how many trillions, but essentially all money in the world moves through BlackRock at some stage, or at least a major majority of it. When they're saying that they're getting in or looking at this, then that is, again, bullish for massive adoption. Again, we may not like the regulation. You don't want these players to come in, but that's where DeFi comes in, right? And that's where we have our little safe haven. So let's move over to DeFi and see what's happening with that. A lot to cover in this video, but hopefully provide some value for you guys. So Avalanche-based Traderjoe to expand on Binance Smart Chain. So that is huge, because if you're not familiar with the Avalanche blockchain, it is a basically Ethereum fork, and essentially it's just like Polygon or even like BNB to some extent. It's just operates on a different blockchain and a different native token. But Traderjoe is the #1 platform by volume on Avalanche, and they're now going to be migrating to Binance and allowing their NFT exchange, also NFT JPEGs, to be migrating to Binance as well. So that is huge, because that should bring in just more cross compatibility, as well as maybe people that are 100% only in AVAX, or looking to dabble. Like, opening this up and adding cross connection is something that we need anyway. Interoperability, they call it within blockchains. So having a way to at least bridge back and forth, or bring this liquidity from one DEX to another and one chain to another, is again part of that massive adoption. And last but not least, we have something very similar in proposal with Uniswap version 3. So if you're not familiar with Uniswap, Uniswap is the largest DEX on ETH. And their version 3 has been proposed by OX Plasma Labs. They submitted a government's proposal that is still up for debate or for voting, to also add that usage onto the Binance Smart Chain, which is the second largest blockchain network by trading volume. And this would add competition to PancakeSwap. Now, to me, competition with PancakeSwap is a good thing, because right now they control, all of the DeFi, but having another really large and notable DEX on PancakeSwap, I think would add a more transaction volume into Binance and give people, maybe a hedge opportunity, different places to stake, all sorts of things come with competition. It's great. PancakeSwap is tried and trusted, and so is Uniswap. And to me, bringing them to Binance is a win-win for both sides, because with competition, usually you get the best of the best to rise to the top. So that is it for this, a wrap up of literally all of the information that I've come across in the recent days. And things develop so quickly in the crypto space. But the main point I want to get you to see is that, yeah, while it may be doom and gloom, when you see the IRS and BlackRock talking bullish basically on the narrative of blockchain and crypto, that means you got to look behind the scenes and see what's really happening. So on the surface, they're going to be telling you all this negative stuff and get you to kind of wreck your position, sell off, or not get in, so that they can get larger positions and then regulate it and then tax the hell out of you, or control everything and see where you're spending your money. Whatever the end narrative is, that is the goal for these big players. So you got to see that long-term play that they're doing and get ahead of that, because if you can get in before they get in, then that is a huge tailwind that you collect, because yeah, lots of adoption comes after that, and they bring lots of money and capital into the system. So that's the play behind the play and the alpha behind the alpha, so to speak. So hope you guys found that valuable. If you did, you know the drill. Smash that HPO special, brother out. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and join my Spritz Finance team. Of course, that is the one platform this quarter I'll be shilling besides giving you the play-by-play on the Drip Network. All right, until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.